Sri Sai Ram, Baba Mahaparayana Sai Satsarita Chapter 5. Baba's return with Chand Patel's party, welcomed and addressed as Sai, contact with other saints, his attire and daily routine, the story of the Padukas, wrestling bout with Mohiddin, and change in life, turning water into oil, the pseudo guru Jawahar Ali. Return with Chand Patel's marriage party. As hinted in the last chapter, I shall now describe first how Sai Baba returned to Shirdi after his disappearance. There lived in the Aurangabad district Nizam state in a village called Dhoop a well-to-do Mohammedan gentleman by name Chand Patel. While he was making a trip to Aurangabad, he lost his mare. For 2 long months he made a diligent search but could get no trace of the lost mare. After being disappointed, he returned from Aurangabad with a saddle on his back. After traveling 4 kos and a half, he came on the way to a mango tree at the foot of which sat a fakir, a queer fellow. He had a cap on his head, wore a kafni, a long robe, and had a satka, that is a short stick, under his arm, and he was preparing to smoke chilim pipe. On seeing Chand Patel pass by, he called out to him and asked him to have a smoke and to rest a little while. The queer fellow or the fakir asked him about the saddle. Chand Patel replied that it was of his mare, which was lost some time back. The fakir asked him to make a search in the nala close by. He went, and wonder of wonders, he found the mare there. He thought that this fakir was not an ordinary man, but an Avila, a great saint. He returned to the fakir with the mare. The chilim was ready for being smoked, but two things were wanting: fire to light the pipe, and water to wet the chapi, that is, piece of cloth through which the smoke is drawn up. The fakir took his prong and thrust it forcibly into the ground, and out came a live ember which he put on the pipe. Then he dashed the satka on the ground from where water began to ooze. The chapi was wetted with that water, then wrung out and wrapped round the pipe. Thus, everything being complete, the fakir smoked the chilim and then gave it also to Chand Patel. On seeing all this, Chand Patel was wonderstruck. He requested the fakir to come to his home and accept his hospitality. Next day, he went to Patel's house and stayed there for some time. Patel was a village officer of Dhoop. His wife's brother's son was to be married, and the bride was from Shirdi. So Patel made preparations to start for Shirdi for the marriage. The fakir was also accompanied the marriage party. The marriage went off without any hitch. The party returned to Dhoop except the fakir, who stayed back in Shirdi and remained there forever. How the fakir got the name Sai? When the marriage party came to Shirdi, it alighted at the foot of a banyan tree in Bhagwat Mahalsapati's field near Kandoba's temple. The carts were loosened in the open courtyard of Kandoba's temple, and the members of the party descended one by one, and the fakir also got down. Bhagwat Mahalsapati saw the young fakir getting down, accosted him as Ya Sai, welcome Sai. Others also addressed him as Sai, and hence therefore he came to be known as Sai Baba. Contact with other saints. Sai Baba began to stay in a deserted masjid. One saint named Devidas had been living in Shirdi for many years before Baba came there. Baba liked his company. He stayed with him in the Maruti temple and in the Chavadi for some time, lived alone. Then came another saint by name Janaki Das. Baba spent most of his time in talking with him, or Janaki Das went to Baba's residence. So also one Vaishya householder saint from Puntambe by name Gangagir also frequented Shirdi. When he first saw Sai Baba carrying pitchers of water in both hands for watering the garden, he was amazed and said openly, "Blessed is Shirdi that it has got this precious jewel. This man is carrying water today, but he is not an ordinary fellow. And as this land, Shirdi, was fortunate and meritorious, it secured this jewel." So also one famous saint by name Anand Nath of Evala Math, a disciple of Ahalkot Maharaj, came to Shirdi with some people. When he saw Sai Baba, he said openly, "This is a precious diamond in reality. Though he looks like an ordinary man, he is not a gar, that is, he is not an ordinary stone, but a diamond. You will realize this in the near future." Saying this, he returned to Evala. This was said while Sai Baba was a youngster. Baba's dress and daily routine. In his young days, Sai Baba grew his hair on his head, never had his head shaved. He dressed like an athlete. When he went to Rahata, 3 miles from Shiradi, he brought with him small plants of marigold, jai, and jui, and after cleaning them, he planted and watered them. A devotee by name Vaman Tatya supplied him daily with two unbaked earthen pitchers. With these, Baba himself used to water the plants. He drew water from the well and carried the pitchers on his shoulders. In the evening, the pitchers were kept at the foot of the neem tree. As soon as they were placed there, they broke as they were made of mud and not baked. Next day, Tatya supplied two fresh pitchers. This course went on for 3 years with Sai Baba's toil and effort. There grew a garden. On this site at present stands the big mansion Samadhi Mandir of Baba, which is now frequented by so many devotees. The story of Padukas, footprints under the neem tree. A devotee of Ahalkot Maharaj by name Bhai Krishnaji Alikbar worshipped the photo of Ahalkot Maharaj. He once thought of going to Ahalkot, take the darshan of Paduka's footprints of the Maharaj and offer his sincere prayers there, but before he could go there, he got a vision in his dream. Ahalkot Maharaj appeared in his vision and said to him, "Now Shiradi is my resting place. Go there and offer your worship." So Bhai changed his plan and came to Shiradi, worshipped Baba, stayed there for 6 months, and he was happy. As a remnants of this vision, etc., he prepared the Padukas and installed them on an auspicious day of Shravan, Shaka year of 1834, that is 1912 AD, under the neem tree with due formalities and ceremonies conducted by Dada Kelkar and Upasani. One Dikshit Brahmin was appointed for worship and the management was entrusted to devotee Sagun. Complete version of this story. Mr. B.V. Dev, retired Mamlatar of Thana and a great devotee of Sai Baba, made enquiries about this matter with Sagun Meru Nayak and Govind Kamlakar Dikshit and has published a full version of the Padukas in Sai Leela magazine volume 11 number 1 page 25. It runs as follows. In 1834 Shaka year, that is 1912 AD, one Dr. Ramrao Kotare of Mumbai came to Shiradi for Baba's darshan. His compounder and friend Bhai Krishnanji Alikbar accompanied him. The compounder and Bhai became intimate with Sagun Meru Nayak and G.K. Dikshit. While discussing things, these persons thought that there must be some memorial of Sai Baba's first advent at Shiradi and his sitting under the holy neem tree. They thought of installing Baba's Padukas there and were going to make them of some rough stone. Then Bhai's friend, the compounder, suggested that if this matter was made known to his master Dr. Ramrao Kotare, he would prepare nice Padukas for this purpose. All liked this proposal and Dr. Kotare was informed of it. He came to Shiradi and drew up a plan of the Padukas. He went to Upasani Maharaj in Kandoba's temple and showed him his plan. The latter made many improvements, drew the lotus, flowers, conch, disc, maize, etc., and suggested that the following shloka, that is verse regarding neem tree's greatness and Baba's yogic powers, must be inscribed. And the verse is as follows. Sada nimba vrikshasya muladi vasat sudastravinam tiktamapiyapriyam tam tarum kalpavrikshadikam sadayantam namamishwaram sadguru sainatham. Upasani's suggestions were accepted and carried out. The Padukas were made in Mumbai and sent to Shiradi with the compounder. Baba said that they should be installed on the Purnima, that is 15th day of Shravan. On that day at 11 am, G.K. Dikshit brought them on his head from Kandoba's temple to the Dwarakamai Masjid in the procession. Baba touched the Padukas, saying that these are the feet of the Lord, and asked the people to install them at the foot of the neem tree. A day later, one Parsi devotee of Mumbai named Pastar Sheth sent rupees 25 by money order. Baba gave this sum for installation of Padukas. The total expenses of installation came to rupees 100, out of which 75 were collected by subscriptions. For first 5 years, G.K. Dikshit worshipped the Padukas daily, and then this was done by Lakshman Kosheshwar Jahari. In the first 5 years, Dr. Kotare sent rupees 2 per month for lighting the lamp, and he also sent the railing round the Padukas. The expenses of bringing the railing from the station to Shiradi and the roofing was paid by Sagun Meru Nair. Now Jakhadi does the puja worship, and the Sagun Meru Nair offers the Nevedya and lights the evening lamps. Bhai Krishnaji was originally a devotee of Ahalkot Maharaj. He came to Shiradi at the time of installation of Padukas in Shaka year 1834 on his way to Ahalkot. He wanted to go to Ahalkot after taking the darshan of Baba. He asked Baba's permission for this. Baba said, "Oh, what is there in Ahalkot? Why do you go there? The Maharaj of that place is here myself." Hearing this, Bhai did not go to Ahalkot. He came to Shiradi off and on after the installation of the Padukas. Mr. B.V. Dev concluded that Hemant Pant did not know these details. Had he known them, he would not have failed to depict them in his Satsarita. Wrestling bout Mohideen, Tamboli and change in lifestyle. To return to other stories of Baba, there was a wrestler in Shiradi by name Mohideen Tamboli. Baba and he did not agree on some points and both had a fight. In this, Baba was defeated. Thenceforth, Baba changed his dress and mode of living. He donned kafni, wore a langot waistband and covered his head with a piece of cloth. He took a piece of sackcloth for his bed and was content with wearing torn and worn out rags. He always said that poverty is better than kingship, far better than lordship. The Lord is always brother, befriender of the poor. Gangagir was also very fond of wrestling. Once while he was wrestling, a similar feeling of dispassion descended over him, and at the proper time he heard the voice of an adept saying that he should wear out his body playing with God. So he too gave up sansara and turned towards God realization. He established a mat on the banks of the rivers Puntambe near and lived there with his disciples. Sai Baba did not mix with the people there. He only gave answers when he was questioned. By day, he always sat under the neem tree, sometimes in the shade of the babul tree near the stream on the outskirts of the village. In the afternoon, he used to walk at random and go at times to Nimgon. There, he frequented the house of Bala Sahib Dengle. Baba loved Mr. Bala Sahib. His younger brother named Nana Sahib had no son, though he married a second wife. Bala Sahib sent Nana Sahib for taking darshan of Sai Baba, and after some time, with his grace, Nana Sahib got a son. From that time onwards, people began to come in large number to see Sai Baba, and his fame began to spread and reached Ahmednagar. From thence, Nana Sahib Chandorkar and Keshav Chidambar and many others began to come to Shiradi. Baba was surrounded by his devotees during day and slept at night in an old dilapidated masjid. Baba's paraphernalia at that time consisted of a chilim, tobacco, a tumbrel, tin pot, long kafni, a piece of cloth round his head, and a satka, a short stick which he always kept in his hand with him. The piece of white cloth on the head was twisted like matted hair and flowed down from the left ear on the back. This was not washed for weeks. He wore no shoes nor sandals. A piece of sackcloth was his seat for most of the day. He wore a kopin waistcloth band, and for warding off cold, he always sat in front of a duni facing south with his left hand resting on the wooden railing. In that duni, he offered an oblation of egoism, desire, and always uttered Allah Malik, God is the sole owner. The masjid in which he sat was only 2 rooms dimension, where all devotees came and saw him. After 1912, there was a change. The old masjid was repaired and a pavement was constructed. Before Baba came to live in this masjid, he lived for long in a place called Takia, where the gungura, small bells tied on his ankles. Baba danced beautifully and sang with tender love. Turning water into oil. Sai Baba was very fond of lights. He used to borrow oil from shopkeepers and keep lamps burning with him the whole night in the masjid and temple. Then this went on for some time. The Baniyas who supplied oil gratis once met together and decided not to give him oil. When as usual Baba went to ask for oil, they all gave him a distinct no. Unperturbed, Baba returned to the masjid and kept the dry wicks in the lamps. The Baniyas were watching him with curiosity. Baba took the tumbler tin pot which contained very little, a few drops of oil, put water in it and drank it, and then forcibly forced it out to fall into the container. After consecrating the tin pot in this way, he again took the water from the tin pot and filled all the lamps with it and lighted them. To the surprise and dismay of the watching Baniyas, the lamps began to burn and kept burning the whole night. The Baniyas repented and apologized, and Baba forgave them and asked them to be more truthful in future. The pseudo Guru Jawahar Ali. 5 years after the above mentioned wrestling bout, one fakir from Ahmednagar by name Jawahar Ali came to Rahata with his disciples and stayed in Bakal, a spacious room near Veerabhadra temple. The fakir was learned, could repeat the whole Quran and had a sweet tongue. Many religious and devout people of the village came to him and began to respect him. With the help of the people, he started to build a idag near the Veerabhadra temple. There was some quarrel about this affair, on account of which Jawahar Ali had to leave Rahata. Then he came to Shirdi and lived in the masjid with Baba. People were captured by his sweet talk, and he began to call Baba his disciple. Baba did not object and consented to be his Chela disciple. Then both Guru and Chela decided to return to Rahata and live there. The Guru teacher never knew his disciple's worth, but the disciple knew the shortcomings of the Guru. Still, he never disrespected him, observing carefully his duties. He even served the master in various ways. They used to come to Shirdi off and on, but their main stay was in Rahata. The loving devotees of Baba in Shirdi did not like that Baba should stay away from them in Rahata. So they went in a deputation to bring Baba back to Shirdi. When they met Baba near the Idag and told him the purpose for which they came, Baba said to them to leave, as that fakir was an angry, ill-tempered fellow. He would not leave him, and that they should better go back to Shirdi without him before the fakir returned. While they were thus talking, the fakir turned up and was very angry with them for taking away his disciple. There was some hot discussion and altercations, and it was finally decided that both the Guru and the Chela should return to Shirdi, and so they returned and lived in Shirdi. But after a few days, the Guru was tested by Devidas and he was found wanting. 12 years before Baba arrived in Shirdi with a marriage party, the Devidas, aged about 10 or 11 years, came to Shirdi and lived in the Maruti temple. Devidas had fine features and brilliant eyes, and he was dispassion incarnate and a dhyani. Many people named Tatya Kote, Kashinath and others regarded him as their guru. They brought Jawahar Ali in his presence, and in this discussion that followed, Jawahar was worsted and fled from Shirdi. He went and stayed in Bijapur and returned after many years to Shirdi and prostrated himself before Baba. The delusion that he was Guru and Sai Baba his Chela was cleared away, and as he repented, Sai Baba treated him with respect. In this case, Sai Baba showed by his conduct how one should get rid of egoism and do the duties of a disciple to attain the highest end, that is self-realization. This story is told here according to the version given by Mahalsapati, a great devotee of Baba. In the next chapter, Ramanavami festival, the masjid, its former condition and the later improvements in it, etc. will be described. Bo to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Sadguru Sainath Maharaj ki Jai. Om Sai Ram.